Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert, and welcome to Obesity Week. So this is the week where the blog will be all about everything you need to know about obesity. So we've already talked about that obesity is a metabolic disease. So it is a disease which is created by this imbalance with energy storing and energy burning, where there is an absolute favouring of energy storing. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about today is, can we measure obesity? Yeah, it's a difficult one here because there is no sort of one test. We can't take a blood test, for example. We can't take a urine test. So there's no real one test. There are certain tests and measurements which can give us an indication. Okay. And the way which until about now, which has been most popular, has been something called BMI, so body mass index. Now, body mass index is a measurement of size, but doesn't tell you anything about health. Now, remember, obesity is a health problem. It is a disease state. It is not merely about how big you might be, okay? Accumulating fat and growing in size is one of the symptoms. Now, it is the symptom which is most visible, and it is often the symptom that we then tend to judge people rather than looking at them and saying or thinking that they have a disorder, they have a disease. We look at them and think, oh, they're fat because they've been eating too much and exercising too little, kind of thing. But it's not simple. Anyway, so BMI is a way of estimating that there is obesity, and it's the medical world are still using it, but as I said, it's not really telling us anything other than size. So it is the measurement where you divide your weight in kilos by your height in meters, which are squared. Okay, and there are different numbers. Okay, so let me run through the numbers. So if your number is under 18.5, you are classified as being underweight. Normal range is 18.5 to 24.9. Overweight is 25 to 29.9. Obesity, 30 to 39.9. If you're above 40, you're severely obese, possibly morbid obese. Okay, so that is the size, but it's not telling us anything other than what you weigh and how tall you are, basically. Okay, now, you have to picture this to understand why it isn't necessarily the best guideline, okay? Now, picture a rugby player or a bodybuilder, okay? So they weigh in very heavy, and they may, when they make a BMI calculation, may come out with a BMI which is above 30. So if you didn't see these people, so if you just had their measurements, then you would possibly presume that they were obese, as in they had a bigger fat storage kind of thing. Well, they are classified as being obese by the numbers, but purely because they're over 30 in the numbers. But they don't have a big accumulation of fat. They just have a big accumulation of muscle tissue, don't they? So health-wise, it is not unhealthy to have a lot of muscle tissue. Health-wise, it is unhealthy to have a lot of fat tissue. So BMIs are purely telling you about size. It's not telling you what your weight is composed of, and thereby is not indicating anything to do with health. So it's going out of fashion, basically, because we can't really use it, kind of thing, okay? So another thing which you could do, and you can do this in your home, is by measuring your waist. So that can be a good thing, because health is very much related to where you are storing your fat. Now, ladies, we like to store fat just underneath the skin, and especially around hips and butts and thighs, and some ladies' breast tissue, okay? Where the boys, they prefer to store it around their tummies. And if they're storing it in the deep and dangerous stuff, the visceral stuff, as it's called, then this is a very unhealthy type of fat. So measuring waist can be an important measurement, okay? So boys, if your measurement is above 102 centimeters or 40 inches, there is a severe risk of of you having the diagnosis of obesity. Ladies, if yours is above 88 centimeters or 34.6 inches, then there is a risk for obesity there. Now, all these numbers are in the actual article which I've written about how do we measure obesity, okay? Or can we? Okay, so measuring abdominal fat can be very important, and I've written some techniques which can be used to evaluate abdominal fats. There's also a system now which is gaining in popularity called the Edmonton Obesity Staging System, and you can read all about this one in the article, and it's all based on clinical assessments, so the medical and mental and functional assessments, which are much more guiding related to the severity of obesity at the end of the day. So be sure to check that article if you're interested in that. But just a quick and easy way is weight and waist measurements, so you pop it on the scales and find out what you're weighing, and then you can compare this to what you should be weighing with your height. And then take your waist measurement. So if your waist measurement is high, then you're going to be storing a lot of fat. And if your weight is high, then it's going to be fat, obviously, rather than it's going to be muscle tissue. So as I said, it's not easy to measure obesity. There is no one test. But weight and waist measurements can give an indication. And this new one called the Edmonton Obesity Staging System is a good way to evaluate the severity of obesity. So that was measuring. Happy hormones, happy life.